What's it been like having such a new group of specialists this year? What do they bring to the table?
Yeah, it's been the first time in a while, but it's fun getting to know new guys in a short amount of time. And those guys have both been pretty awesome. Finn, our punter, he's done a good job. He's an experienced guy, and nothing seems to fluster him. He's got a good personality. And then same thing with Lath, very confident kid. He's been doing an excellent job. So we've got good. Even when you bring in new people, you don't know kind of what you're going to get until you get them on campus. But once they've been here, they've kind of been through it, and they're very mature guys. So they bring some maturity to the group for sure. Just through connections, reaching out, talking to, kicking coaches we know, and then Coach Dwayne, one of our special teams analysts, he coached Lath back at ECU, so that was the connection there. And once I think he transferred to South Alabama, and once he got in the portal, then we obviously started recruiting him from there.
Dean was the guy that headed into last year, hadn't really broken through and then had the season that he did. What's his growth look like over the last, say, year or so from where he was last spring to where he is now?
He just, even when he came in, he always had the skill set and ability, and then he had a heck of a spring last spring, so we knew he was going to do something really, really good in the fall, and he had a great season there. And he's done a complete 180, right? He kind of made a decision on his own, and then he said, I'm going to get after this. He put on the weight, and that was the biggest thing holding him back. And then he matured a lot, and sometimes when your time comes, it comes, and he was really patient with it, but he works his butt off, and we're excited to see where he'll take things next.
Justice Finkley, a guy that has a lot of experience in previous also a guy that had a lot of leadership experience in Texas. How does he kind of fit in?
You would think Justice has been here for 4 seasons. Really mature guy, strong leader, comes in the room, and he leads by mostly example. The way he comes in and how early he comes in and how much extra work he's doing. You see some of the young guys and even some of the new guys, they're generating towards that, and then he backs it up in practice every day. So he plays hard, he plays with a motor, and guys feed off it, and they respect that about him.
Guys who have been playing on the strong side who previously played on the weak side, like Vi, for instance, what's the adaptation been like there?
We always say you have to be versatile, right? We name certain positions, certain things, but we're going to play the best 2 guys or best 4 guys or best 5 guys eventually. So although you're starting in one position, we try to mix guys around a little bit throughout spring ball to make sure they know both positions, because we're going to play the best guys, because that's what you do to help the team. You got to put the best 2 out there, even if they're supposedly the same position.
On Finkley's side, who else is working that side?
Dak's worked there. Bai's worked there a little bit, but he'll work more to the field. But mainly Dak, and then Dylan Brooks has worked there too as well, as he's coming off of injury too. So those 3 guys have been doing a great job. And then we've got a true freshman, Adrian Holly. Some of the bigger guys are playing that position. So those 4 have rotated throughout spring ball, with Justice and Dak getting the majority of those reps. But Dylan Brooks is getting reps there as well.
Katie O'Connor said that Adrian's put on about 20 pounds since he's hit campus. Did he come in with the right habits?
Yeah, Adrian, I don't know if it was 20, but he's put on really good weight. I mean, he's a true freshman, and when we say this, he should be going to prom right now, and he's getting all these early enrollee, and I think he's ranging anywhere from 242 to 244 as a true freshman. So he's going to be a big kid. He came in with a big frame, naturally, so he's got a lot of good DNA in that regard, but he's been working really hard in the weight room, and Coach Sleeve and those guys have been doing a great job with him.
What does the next step look like for Dean after what he accomplished last year?
Yeah, so I just tell him, don't ever get complacent, right? Dean's a guy that when he heard he got second team all conference, he kind of just nodded his head. He kind of was disappointed. He wants to be a first team all conference kind of guy. He wants to be an All-American, and he keeps trying to find new ways to improve his game. So now that that last year was his first year playing, and he had a pretty good successful season, he knows if he can take that other step, he can really be a great player in this conference for us.
Who are some of the guys in the return game back there working?
Sure. At kick return, Emmanuel Henderson, he's doing an excellent job back there. Cam Pickett, Tate Nagy. There's a lot of guys. We're kind of, spring ball is when we throw a bunch of guys back there, and then we go back, we watch the tape and see who's comfortable. We start to just to see what they can get off a game-like simulation. At punt return, Nagy's been doing a great job. Keaton's been doing a great job. A lot of guys. So we're still trying to figure that out there, but it'll be some new faces back there for sure.
When it comes to the return
Yeah. Starting with punt return is one of the hardest things to do. So you got to find a guy that's comfortable and not afraid, to catch in traffic and things like that. So that's always the most difficult one. That's kind of a natural thing. So you want a guy in punt return that can make a guy miss right away, because typically there's a guy unblocked in your face. That's the first thing. Obviously, you want a guy that can change direction. But catching it and fielding it's the most important thing. Kick return, you want a guy that's can get vertical and break arm tackles, right? Because he's going to be in a little bit of traffic, so he's going to have to do a good job reading blocks. So guys that are physical, and at the kick return game, a guy that can get north and south and is really a physical runner.
Now, you've thrown out a bunch of names at the end just here.
Mm-hmm.
What's the competition? Are these guys pushing each other?
Oh, yeah. It's with bringing Justice in and the way Dean practices, and Justice kind of adds on to that. So those guys really – they play hard and they practice hard. So the younger guys behind them and some of the guys that are veterans, they had to they're stepping their game up too. So the competition's great. And that's when we're having discussions daily on, okay, who fits where. We haven't even talked about starting and things like that. We just talk about, hey, we've got some guys that can play, and we got to do a great job of getting these guys reps and throughout the summer so they can keep building on that and get to the season. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he's been playing more to the field, and I was recruiting him pretty hard out of high school. We were actually, and he's got speed. He's got a lot of natural pass rush ability, and he's still a young guy. He's got multiple years to play, and he's a guy that's always wanting to come in and meet. So I'm excited about him. And as coaches, you're not patient enough. When you see something you like in a guy, you get excited and you push, but we just got to have some patience and keep working with him, because a couple guys have only been here for a couple months, 3 months, you know what I mean? So those guys are still working and attacking it.
With all those new faces,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of position, receiver, linebacker, DN, whatever it is.
Sure.
At what point in the recruitment of bringing these guys in does the special teams conversation happen? Do you obviously needed to rebuild your wide receiver room a little bit, but do you talk about special teams with those guys while that's happening?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you bring in guys, and sometimes guys have multiple years, sometimes guys have 1 year. And we always talk about you need guys that have versatility. You can't be a one-trick pony. If you're a receiver and you're really fast, like a thing about Emmanuel that was really impressive is we watch all their special team stuff too. So Alabama, he was running down on kickoff. He was doing kick return. He was a gunner on punt. That was part of the intriguing thing. Like, he can dominate the game. He may not get a reception in the game, but he can dominate the game in a lot of other ways. So guys like, and Cam Pickett was a returner, and those are all things we need. You don't know how these rosters are going to go, if they're shrinking rosters and things like that. So you need guys that can do more than one thing. So it's a big part of the recruiting process.
Is there sort of you feel it when they're into it? Like, you can tell when a guy doesn't want to play
Yeah.
special teams.
Oh, absolutely.
But when you're recruiting them,
Yeah.
it's put forward from both sides. Do you feel like, oh, he's in?
Yeah.
He'll do it.
Yeah, coach always. No one comes to college to play the L5 on kickoff or something like that. But when you throw something, I always, especially if it's an offensive guy and you see they played a little special teams, and I'll throw something out at them during the recruiting process, and kind of by their response, their excitement and how they respond, if that they're really interested in it. And those guys have been, and DJ Graham, he's been doing there's a bunch of guys that we like that have been doing an excellent job. So that only helps the entire team, obviously.
With Dylan, what's his journey been like back from the injury? It'd be really easy to get down on yourself when you're out for that long. And where's he at health-wise?
Yeah, Dylan, we were slow with him initially throughout spring ball. Now we ramped it up the last couple of weeks with him. He's in a good spot. He's ready to go. He's been cleared, so he's been getting after it. And it's a mental and physical battle when you have an injury like that. And he's a kid that's been working his butt off just when he rehabbed to get to where he is now. So we're excited to get him back to where he was, and he's chipping away at that for sure.
Apparently, Finn kicked with both feet last season. Have you ever had something like that before?
He would be the first, right, that I've had. That'll be interesting. Yeah, so I think he did it in the game last year, but we'll see how that goes this year. I don't think he did it a whole lot. So but it is still it's a good skill set to have for sure.